Well, hello and welcome to this very special edition of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. I'm your host, Chris Greene, Director of Network Expansion for Avoya Travel, and I thank you so much for your time and your participation in our weekly show. I say that today is a special edition because we have not one, but two special guests joining us today. We're going to go check in with Steve Hirshan here in just a moment. He's the Senior Vice President of Sales for Avoya Travel. Steve is live at the Avoya Travel Land Forum in beautiful Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. We'll find out all about this year's event, how it benefits our network, our vendor partners, and why it's an event that you should strive to be part of in the future. Steve will be joining us here in just a few minutes. And if Steve wasn't enough, we have the amazing Gina Hoyt, Director of Avoya Education Platform, back with an exclusive Avoya Insider segment on the newest and really the most exciting enhancements so far with the travel agent education powered by Avoya Platform. We promised you back in November of 2022, last year, when this first launched, that we would continue to fine-tune it to make it even more elite. And I think these enhancements are really going to make a huge difference in helping aspiring travel professionals to get off on the ground the right way, really just to get a head start in their new business. We look forward to having Gina join us here in just a couple of moments. Because of back-to-back guests, we won't have time for our normal Eye on the Industry feature this week, but we'll make sure we touch base on the latest promotions for Avoya Travel, the exclusive and elite resources those in the Avoya network have access to, and we'll highlight our travel media social media channels and make sure that you have all the ways to reach out and get started with the process to affiliate your business with the Avoya network. Whether you're a seasoned travel professional or brand new to the travel industry, Avoya Travel has the best-in-class resources that can help your business achieve its maximum potential, and we can't wait to engage with you and tell our amazing story. All right, let's kick it off. This week's special edition of On Deck with Avoya, your weekly travel update. Somehow, some way, we've drug them away from the beach or the pool. Probably more than likely an important meeting with a vendor, but however we managed to make it happen, we're excited to welcome back Steve Hirshan, Senior Vice President of Sales for Avoya Travel, joining us from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Steve, great to have you back on the show, and buenos dias, sir.
Buenos dias, ¿cómo está? I hope the music at the pool is not too loud here for you.
No, I think we're good. We can insert mariachis or whatever later, or whatever they got going on down there. Steve, first off, tell us where you are and what the purpose of your trip is.
So, like you said, I'm at the Dreams and Secrets Bahia Mita Resort in beautiful Puerto Vallarta. And apparently we had an earthquake here the other day, but nobody noticed it seems. But I just saw that on the news. And we're here for our annual Avoya Land Forum, which is a bringing together of agencies at Avoya Travel that either sell lots of travel or want to sell lots of travel, and many of our preferred suppliers that want to help them learn about selling resorts, because it's really getting to be more and more a key component of an agency's business. And after COVID, it was actually probably the first piece of business to come back.
Absolutely. So the Avoya Land Forum, how many Avoya network affiliates are there, Steve, and how many vendors do they get a chance to interact with?
Yeah, it's a huge group. We've doubled the size of the event from last year. We have over 200 Avoya people attending the event, and probably close to 40 to 50 suppliers that are here as well.
That's amazing. Steve, why do you think it's important, events like this, and how does it help Avoya Travel as we try to kind of stand out amongst the crowd as a leading host agency?
Yeah, so I think, having been on the supplier side myself for many years, I know that once you meet an agent personally, the relationship just moves to a different level. The next time they call you or email you and ask for help with a situation, or maybe to promote a group, that personal connection is just going to enhance their ability and their desire to help you and service your account.
Yeah, it kind of dovetails into my next question. I mean, in our industry, would you agree that relationships still really matter between, say, a top travel advisor and the top travel vendors? I guess you just kind of answered that in some way.
Well, and I'll add to that, from my own personal experience as a supplier, once I had met an agent, it sure was a lot harder to say no to them when they called and asked for help. So that's certainly a key thing. And just like we do at Avoya when we make announcements about new things, vendors are the same way. They want to share it with people first who made the effort to come to their event in person. So getting that advanced information, it certainly gives agents a leg up on their competition.
And sometimes at these events, right, Steve? I mean, as a company, we plan all this exciting moments to be able to help drive that engagement. But sometimes the light bulb moment really happens while you're just kind of sitting around in the informal moments, having a cup of coffee and a discussion, and then a question gets asked the vendor, and boom, it sparks something that really turns into something pretty amazing down the road.
No, and I've seen it happen here already this week with one of our great IAs, Gary Kirsten, and Globus, and they put together a dedicated motor coach trip in Europe that sold out almost instantly.
Wow. Carrie, she's always working at these events. You have to give her credit for that.
They really are, trust me.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. We love that, because that's one of the great things that our technology does, right? It allows agents to really still stay connected with their business, even though they're hundreds and thousands of miles away from home.
Well, I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely.
That proves it.
Yes, indeed. Steve Hirshan, he's there, Senior Vice President of Sales for Avoya Travel, our special guest today. Steve, we know you have a very busy schedule. We don't want to keep you too long, but I wanted to ask before we start to wrap up, do you think that the smart advisors recoup that investment? Again, I guess you just talked about Carrie, but I guess they do in some ways recoup that investment by participating in events like the Land Forum. They get that firsthand knowledge, then they go back and apply it with their clients, and boom, extra sales, right?
Well, and we've learned the importance of that, and we've kept the cost extremely low for the event. And I mean, it's pretty much under $100 plus your airfare to get here. So that's a pretty reasonable investment. And I guess still tax deductible as well for a travel business. So it's a really modest investment to make that's going to have so much long-term impact on your business that it's the ultimate no-brainer when it comes to spending money. Sometimes
we get a question, Steve, is Avoya all about cruises? And I guess, an event like the Land Forum and the amazing success it is really should put to bed that question for good, right?
Yeah, and listen, I learned the lesson the hard way when I had my agency with Avoya Travel, and I got a call from a client. So, Steve, I just got back from a tour of London, and I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't you call me to book it? And like, well, we thought you only did cruises, and then many years ago was how we were perceived. And then about 7-8 years ago, we kind of migrated into the escorted tour business, and over the last 3 years, under the direction of our Assistant Vice President of Strategic Partnerships, Mickey McBride, we've made major inroads into land and resort. And the reason why it's so important, Chris, is a cruise client goes on a cruise once every 2.5 to 3 years, but they go on vacation once or twice a year. So now looking back, I'm realizing I was missing out on the other 2 to 5 vacations many of my clients were taking because, number one, they weren't even aware that I sold land, and number two, if they asked, I wasn't very well prepared to do it.
Steve, before we wrap up and say goodbye, I have to ask, and I've asked you this multiple times, so I'm going to phrase it a little bit differently this time. Do you think that events like the Avoya Land Forum, the success it is, really help show and spotlight some of the reasons why the future of leisure travel continues to look so bright?
Yeah, I think so. When people come here and they hear about the growth in land business that we're experiencing, and they hear from the vendors how much people are traveling now more often than they used to. They're spending more money when they do travel than they used to. So certainly the future looks bright. We know we're always going to have situations that come up every 4 or 5 years or 6 years that we have to deal with. And when we get past those things, the resiliency the network and the industry showed during COVID, I don't think there's anything else out there that could slow this business down, for decades to come. That would be any more powerful than that.
Perfectly said, Steve. Certainly appreciate your time. Steve Hirshan, everyone, Senior Vice President of Sales for Avoya Travel. Steve, thanks for making time to join us, and enjoy the rest of the Land Forum.
It's my pleasure, and I think you understated the next guest because she's really the star of the show. Amazing, maybe a little bit of an understatement, but I hope everybody is impressed with what they hear from Gina Hoyt next, because she's done an amazing job launching the Avoya Education Platform.
Absolutely. As Steve said, from the beautiful Mexican Riviera coast to the deep woods of the Pacific Northwest, we're covering a lot of ground today with On Deck with Avoya, all in the efforts to provide you several reasons, we hope, to reach out and start the process to affiliate at avoyanetwork.com. And as the show rolls on, we're lucky to have, as we said, back-to-back live guests today, and Gina Hoyt, Director of Avoya Education Platform, back for an Avoya Insider segment on amazing updates with the travel agent education powered by Avoya platform. Gina, great to see you. Thanks for your time today, and thanks for being back on Deck with Avoya.
Hey, Chris. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for having me today.
So, Gina, you're an old pro at this by now, having been on the show several times, but give us the quick 411 on your backstory and your history as a travel professional, kind of what led you to this moment in time we're at now.
Sure. Thanks for asking. I'll try to keep it brief. You know me, I like to talk, so good luck with that. So I've been in the industry almost 25 years. I truly love it. I started a brick and mortar in the community we lived in, and like many new to travel, I walked into it not knowing a thing. I remember, my first question was, how do travel agents even get paid? So at that time, the internet is not what it is today. So online education was not an option. I looked at some of our local community colleges, and it really did not have an opportunity or an option to even take anything like that. So go from there to where we are today. I operated that agency successfully for a number of years, had several hosts. My last host that I had was Avoya Travel. And then at that point, I transitioned into being an employee, became an employee, and I sold my agency to actually one of the ladies who worked for me for a number of years. From then to now is all been about education and helping others find success. So I hope that's enough.
It is. It's a great journey. And it really sets us up for the success that we're seeing with the travel agent education powered by Avoya. But before we really launch into the changes in that program, Gina, can you give me a kind of an overview of what that travel agent education powered by Avoya is, who it's designed for, and why it's just a smart investment for someone's future if they're looking to be a travel professional?
Well, think about it this way. If you have, let's say you have to have heart surgery, do you want to go to a general surgeon, or do you want to go to a heart surgeon, right? It's like understanding and knowing the industry that you're in is super important. So in terms of why is it a smart investment? I would not necessarily recommend anybody do it the way that I did it. 25 years ago, because it was challenging and I learned a lot and I made mistakes that were costly, and you don't have to do that. So, learning about the industry. So about the industry, what it offers, what you can do, and really truly building that foundation is super important if you're new to the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And travel agent education powered by Avoya, that platform really designed to do that. And we're here today to discuss some of the exciting updates on that platform. And as with all things that are new, right, Gina, there's been some changes, some of it based on just the fact that Avoya is always cutting edge, but some of it is actually based on some feedback that the people that were the first, group of students through that platform provided some feedback, some great suggestions. We were listening, and now we're here to share some of that exciting information, right?
Absolutely. So, with all things, right, there's change and there's improvements. And I love the fact that people are willing to share. They're willing to share their successes, and they're also willing to share, hey, this potentially is challenging, giving us the opportunity to look at, okay, what can we do to make it better? And that's truly what we've done. We've made it much more user friendly. We also, and I know you're going to talk about this, but we also offer it in written format and audio. So the testing quizzes, we offer now quizzes for every section, so you can kind of test your knowledge as you go. There's worksheets. It's really a great opportunity to learn about all of it. And we're finding, and what people have shared with us so far in the short amount of time that we've launched the new platform, is they're really loving it, and it's easy for them to use.
And it's immediate. That's another thing that I love about it too, right? I mean, I make my investment, I sign up, and I'm ready. You know, like I live in a modern world. I'm ready to jump in at that moment, and now they can, and I think that's just amazing.
Actually, absolutely. I mean, you register, you pay, it actually logs you in and brings up the screen, your dashboard, your account dashboard, and you can like immediately start into the education. So no longer have to wait for us to do any enrollment things on the back end. Now we get it, we see it, and we kind of monitor, and that's the other thing is as you go through the education, you're going to continue to get little nudges from us. And I don't want to say, I mean, communication, I guess, is a better word, not a nudge. But I mean, I guess for us, we want you to know that we are here. If you have questions, we are here to help you. I mean, that's what we do is to help you through that process.
And I don't mind you saying you're giving them a nudge, right? Because let's face it, we got a shared success business model, and we only butter our bread on our side when you butter your bread on your side. So yeah, we're going to give you a little nudge because we like the butter. You know what I mean?
Sure,
one of the other things I really love about this when I saw the preview, Gina, is, and you just kind of touched on it, is the audio portion, because people live in such a diverse lifestyle these days, and we all have so much going on, and some of us love the ability to hear that information being read to us, even as we're reading along, or maybe just as a standalone. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. So, couple things. We have had a couple enrollees with some visual impairments, and so for them, some of them have a software on their computer that could read to them. But having that ability, right? When you go to a lesson and at the top of the page, you just click on a button. And like Chris, like you mentioned, you can sit there and you can read along with the audio. What about if you're in a car traveling though? And I don't know about you, but trying to read in a car makes me sick to my stomach. But if I'm in the car, my husband's driving, I can put my earbuds in and click the play button and ignore him. Don't tell him I said that. But I mean, and listen to the audio, right? I don't even have to read it. I could listen to it. Or maybe I'm driving, right? And I've got my phone and I'm hands-free, but it's connected to Bluetooth, but I can listen to it while I'm driving. I mean, what great opportunities. And that did come from feedback from some of our previous enrollees. They're like, I just don't have all the time to sit down and read all of it. And so we were able to, make that enhancement and really provide them with what we think is something super beneficial.
I think so too. I think it's going to be a real big, I mean, I don't want to overstate the game changer nature of it, but I think it's really important because people process information in different ways. And this just meets more people where they process the information, which is all about providing that level of independence and at the same time, their opportunity to be successful. So I think it's just a great enhancement to the program. And big thumbs up for me on that one, Gina.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gina Hoyt, Director of Avoya Education Platform for Avoya Travel, is our featured Avoya Insider guest today. Gina, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. Do I really need education? I mean, can I just wing it and hope to do okay?
Sure, you can. I've been there, done that. I don't recommend it for anyone based on my own personal experience. I made some mistakes in the beginning, right? That financially cost me a significant amount of money. Again, customer service, I had to make it right for the customer. I mean, do I recommend it? No, because those things are avoidable if you know and understand and you have a basic foundation. So again, ultimately the decision's up to you. You can do whatever you want, but I would not recommend it. There's other options out there, and you can really make it so much easier on yourself. I know, had the opportunity been there, I wish I mean, it wasn't there for me, right? Because of the timing, and it just 25 years ago wasn't an option, but it is today. And I would definitely encourage you to get some sort of education, get some sort of foundation, understand this industry, understand what you're getting into, and help eliminate, some of those pitfalls that you don't have to make. Trust me, You don't have to make them.
Absolutely. No, very well said. All right. So I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself on this one, but one of the things I love about the 2.0 version of the travel agent education powered by Avoya platform is kind of an ability, and I guess some of this is on the hush hush, but we'll not hush hush it right now and at least talk about it for a second. But is the option for certain people to take the test only, right? For those that maybe had been in the industry a while back and maybe they were out for a little while and they want to get that refresh, or maybe somebody's done a ton of investment into their knowledge about the industry, but it hasn't translated to sales. We have a test only option. And is it okay if we talk about that?
It's been launched. I sent an email to you yesterday. So it is available and it is launched. You would have to actually get that information, Chris, from you and your or your team. It's not something that's readily available out there to the public. But if you're, like Chris mentioned, if you have, maybe it's been years, right? Maybe you have a basic understanding of this industry, but you want to test out, and we have that option for you. You can do the test only portion. We've got two different options actually, because with our education, our full education platform, remember that does come with a CLIA individual membership, and it also comes with a future travel professional membership from ASTA. That is included in our education platform when you pay for that. Once you've taken the TAEC test and passed it, then you get those memberships. So we have the test only option, and then we have the test only option. Once you pass it, you can actually do the get that future travel professional and also individual CLIA membership. So we've got two different options for the test only opportunity out there.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting because we know the value of ASTA, and we're actually going to focus a little bit on ASTA next week with Skip Fortier,
Yep.
and we'll talk about that in a minute. But CLIA has those bonus commissions, and who doesn't like bonus commissions and extra money and the opportunity to, with the brands you're going to sell anyway, make a few extra bucks on that. So I think it's just an amazing program. When we talked to you back in early April, we were still pretty new with the program, but you were able to share with us some exciting stats. And I'm curious, have those stats kind of held up now that we're 8 months worth of data that you're able to crunch?
They have held up, Chris, and that's even more exciting because we're watching it, right? We do watch that, and it's actually eked up a little bit, but not a significant amount enough to tout it. But what I can share with you is that those that have taken the education are closing at 25% higher, and their sales and their commissions are double. Yes, I said double. Those who have not taken the education program. So it's pretty exciting to kind of watch all of that transpire and watch people grow, because I know I get excited, but at the end of the day, they're excited, right? It's like they get excited, and that's pretty amazing to watch.
It is, absolutely. Gina, given all your years in the travel business and your time that you've spent dedicated to professional development and education and helping, the new crop of agents that come into our industry grow their business, what are some of the important traits that you see that ultimately make a great agent in the long run?
Being inquisitive, right? Asking, being inquisitive. And I think the first thing, the most important is willingness and open-mindedness, right? I don't know about you. I do know about me. I tend to be a little bullheaded sometimes. And I get my train of thought, but if I'm open and I'm willing to maybe a different perspective, then I can grow from that. So that's what I would encourage, right? Is be inquisitive, but be willing and be open to different perspectives and new ideas, and you'll do amazing.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
Persistence. Sorry.
No, great advice. All of those little bits are fantastic advice, and they do really go well into seeing the traits that do ultimately make a very successful travel agent, travel advisor in our interview. As we get ready to wrap up today, Gina, any last thoughts or bits of advice you want to share with our audience today?
Oh, geez, I think I just did that.
That's
But
okay.
again, persistent, I just continue to seek out, to seek and grow in your willingness to grow. There's so much out there, and in this industry, you can't learn it overnight. I mean, like I mentioned, I've been in the industry a long time, but I continue to learn and grow even today. And the moment that I stop doing that, I'm going to be in trouble, and I might as well I just might as well retire and be done, right? I mean, it's there, it's available, and the opportunity as well. So best of luck to all of you. I hope that, at some point you make that decision and make the leap, and just hold on.
Yeah, it's a great time to get into the industry. There's been a complete shift in the mindset of people from this, stuff-oriented lifestyle that some of us kind of were leading during the beginning phases of COVID to more of an experienced-based lifestyle. And being a travel advisor is a great way to capitalize on that. Gina, we've asked you this before. I'll ask you one more time. I know your answer in the past has been yes, but are you still excited about the future of leisure travel, and anything new on why you would say that?
The answer is a resounding yes. This, again, leisure travel, this industry is incredible. It offers incredible opportunity for those who are in it. It's given myself, my family, incredible opportunities. I was able to raise my children as I worked in this industry, and they got to experience things I only dreamed of experiencing, when I was a child. So it offers ample opportunity. And so the answer is yes. I love this industry, and I am continued to be excited about what it offers for people.
Gina Hoyt, everyone, director of Avoya Education Platform for Avoya Travel. Gina, thanks again for those exciting updates. Congratulations on the amazing progress of the travel agent education powered by Avoya Platform. Next week, fresh off his yearly visit to Capitol Hill, Skip Fortier, Vice President of Network Expansion, joins us again for an exclusive Avoya Insider look at this year's ASTA legislative days, as well as his visit over to CLIA headquarters. We look forward to welcoming Skip back to the show next Thursday at our normal time. Let's talk about some promotions really quick. Last week, we had Brenda Potter from Network Enrichment on, and they were sharing us their new promotion. And I'm going to give you this skinny really quick. It's basically a $50 bonus commission for people that are new to joining the network. So for those that join the network and then complete Avoya University, claim and close an Avoya Live lead, and complete all that criteria within the first 30 days of affiliation, which is more than doable, something I did, something many of our newest affiliates did when they joined the network. $50 bonus commission. Who doesn't love extra money? The offer ends soon. All the details will be provided upon affiliation. We continue to have our great military promotion for our veteran friends and those that are actively serving for themselves and their spouses. $100 off the affiliation fee. More details at avoyanetwork.com. My team can certainly provide those details and help get you qualified. The resources are very deep at Avoya Travel. We're very proud when we say best in class, and you really can't find that professional freedom through things like our agent power. As Steve was saying, so many of our affiliates using agent power while they're there out of the country, down in Mexico, still being able to be successful and make money and keep their business afloat. Live leads, just an amazing resource. All the marketing assets, the support that's available 7 days a week, and the education and professional development, because smart agents, no matter how much they sell, they keep their finger on the pulse of what's going on, and they sell more because of that. We really appreciate your time today. We appreciate you following us. We hope you give us a follow on our social media at Avoya Travel Network, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Follow us, stay up to date with everything we've got going on. If you missed an episode, it's always archived on our YouTube channel. We certainly appreciate your time very much for participating in that. And of course, the old-fashioned way, if you want to reach out, avoyanetwork.com is really the best place to do that. You can reach out to me personally, of course, chris.greene at avoyatravel.com, the toll-free number there as well to reach out. Thank you so much for your time today. I love having back-to-back guests on. I hope you found it a great show. Thank you to Steve Hirshan for joining us from the Land Forum, to Gina Hoyt on the exciting updates of the travel agent education powered by Avoya. Big thank you to Annabella from Trade Marketing for doing a wonderful job, as always, producing our show. Big thank you to you for making time for On Deck with Avoya. Until next week, take care, my friend.